right, welcome back to. Oh, hold on, music here. There we go. A little 9 to 5 music for you. Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. If I could do my job properly on this Tuesday to get you going. All right, so every once in a while we have some big time movers and shakers on this show who really are just influential people. They're influencers to us. We got one right now. Let's bring in District 14 Council Member Kevin Rhoten, who I bullied to be on the show this morning. Kevin, good morning, buddy.
Morning, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing well. First of all, let's talk. We'll get to Whataburger in just a second. But got this emissions thing that's going on. Is there a vote tonight on the council for this?
Yeah, Joe, there's a vote tonight. So we delayed it back in, I believe it was in November, late November, till today. We wanted to give the Department of Health had some questions. They wanted to make sure that we were doing everything we needed to do, and the emissions companies themselves, we needed to make sure they were okay. And so today is the vote. I'm going to put an amendment on. I heard you before the break that you had to get your emissions done this month, and so
Right.
I'm sorry, Joe, to tell you I'm going to be putting an amendment on, or asking to put an amendment on. Legal has asked us to put an amendment on. There's a 30-day cancellation clause in the contract with the emissions testing folks. So if we cancel it today, the earliest it could start would be February 4th, Joe. So I apologize for that, but you know, the council might not. They might want to end it. The date right now we have on it is January the 14th. So it's either going to be January 14th or February the 4th. So we'll figure it out tonight. But right now it looks like it's going to end. You know, you and I have had this since the mid 80s when we were starting to drive. You know, I remember I had a 1978 Cutlass for a couple of years and it failed, and I had to go buy something with the carburetor. It cost me a fortune. I was making $3.35 an hour. So I've never really liked emissions testing, you know. So.
Well, you know, the same thing. I had an 81 Datsun 310 GX that failed because my muffler wasn't connected. So I had to get a muffler, which cost more than my car did to pass. I have failed that emissions test more than anybody in Davidson County.
Yeah, I feel for you, Joe. A lot of people have. So
all right, well, good. Hopefully, thank you for being on the forefront of that and getting this thing out of here and improving a lot of lives for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I have to say, let me say, Joe, real quick. So I'm the lead sponsor on it because I was the first one to ask about it, but I've got 24 other co-sponsors out of 40 people. So there's a lot of people that wanted to end this program. You know, it's ended in the counties around us. The Biden administration just passed new rules to make emission standards much more strict, and I know all the big car companies are going to electric, so it's time for us to get rid of it. So thank you for letting me talk about that, Joe.
Yeah, you also made the front page of the e-edition of the Main Street Nashville, which is pretty good, Kevin.
Hey, any news is good news, I guess, is what they say. So yeah, you're gonna make me put on my glasses, aren't you, like you did?
No, there you go. I'm just saying, there it is right there. Let's get rid of that. That one in Hermitage, God, they hate seeing me come because they're like, we know this guy's going to fail, and I usually do. So that's what happens right there. All right. So the other big news is tomorrow is the opening of the Whataburger in Hermitage. And Kevin, how long have you been a councilman?
Since September of 2015.
Has anything fired up the community more than a Whataburger coming to your area?
No, and Joe, it's quite amazing. I hate to say it, I'm kind of tired of Whataburger now because I've been to more meetings about Whataburger than it seems like almost anything else in the community, just because they believe that there's going to be some serious traffic issues when they open up tomorrow. And so we've been me and State Representative Darren Jernigan have done a lot of meetings with them, and the Tennessee Department of Transportation, the Nashville Department of Transportation, they've all put together a plan just for the traffic that they expect tomorrow morning. So hopefully it won't be that bad, but I know a lot of folks are fired up about it. A lot of folks that have moved here from Texas. So
every time that's posted on the Hip Hermitage Facebook group, I mean, there are hundreds, thousands of comments and everything weighing in on this. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Joe, I really haven't. I mean, you know the location. It's the old Applebee's there in Hermitage, and we approved that location for a restaurant several years ago, and it was right before the tornado. And after the tornado hit, that fell through. And I thought, well, something will go there one day. Then all of a sudden, the Whataburger popped up, and it's been a madhouse ever since. You know that. You see it on Hip Hermitage, Hip Donaldson. That's all everybody talks about is Whataburger. You and I used to go to Whataburgers back in the 70s, when it's out at Rivergate. I mean,
Right.
it just seemed like a hamburger place to me, but for some reason it's become something else. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. When did they first? Can you go back? I mean, it's to figure out when they first contacted you about that, because it's been rumblings for years. Can you go back to a specific date when it's like, all right, we're moving on this now?
it was summer of this year when I was notified that they were for sure coming. You kind of be quiet because you never want to say for sure, because I've had a lot of companies fall through. And then um, somewhere around September is when they did the changes. They made a few changes to the property at planning to make sure everything they had there was what they wanted. I wasn't involved with that, but then they started contacting me um, more recently within the last few months about the traffic that they expect, because they've had other properties. One in Missouri, they had a 3 mile backup for an opening. And so yeah, exactly. So we really don't want 3 mile backups on Old Hickory Boulevard in either direction. You know how that'll be, and how I'll have to go lock my door here in my office and just not come out for a couple of days. So, and you better not say anything about me. You're my friend, so
I
don't do
won't.
that.
You know what's funny is we both grew up in that area. I remember the day when that was just a big open field from from Lebanon Road to Andrew Jackson Parkway was just a big field of nothing. And
Yeah.
now you drive through there, Kevin. I know that was 40 years ago, but I know progress happens. But there's so many new cool businesses that are I mean, the Five Guys open up in Hermitage there. A lot of things that are the Bonfire Grill. So there's a lot of great things opening in that little stretch led by Waterburgers. I think it's a great time to be in that area.
Yeah, it's really amazing all the new restaurants that have opened up through there. And there's another one opening up that I did not know was such a big deal, but my daughter informed me. I guess I'm not in the know. The Dutch Brothers Coffee, or as my daughter told me, it's Dutch Bros. There's a Dutch Brothers Coffee opening up right there next to the car wash. And I am told that that's one of that's like Starbucks out on the West Coast. And so I did not know that, but they have like 1,000 coffee shops out on the West Coast. So I'm told, I'm not in the know, but that it's a really cool thing. So.
Well, my daughter's told me a lot of things throughout the years that I had no clue on, which has helped me kind of be cool. So I'm good with that. And that strip too, Kevin, on Long Lebanon Road, with the Bluff City soap, and there's a Mexican restaurant going through and the First Watch. I mean, that spot right there on Lebanon Road, which is behind Waterburger. I mean, that whole area there has become a really cool place for restaurants and places to go.
It's really taken off, Joe, since I took office. They had just finished it when I took office, and ever since then, we've had some really good businesses come in there, and it stayed full even throughout the pandemic. I was worried through the pandemic that a lot of those businesses would close, but it hasn't, Joe. It's maintained, and got even bigger. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Where does your district? What's the area of your district?
So, Joe, I go from a little bit of Donaldson Pike, but mainly Stewart's Ferry Pike all the way to Old Hickory Boulevard. So the Home Depot and everything is on the other side of my district, but everything on this side of Old Hickory Boulevard, on the west side of Old Hickory Boulevard, is mine.
So including Waterburger?
Including Waterburger, yes.
Okay. And so tomorrow, are you going to be out there, or do you have to go?
Yeah, I'm going to try to be, Joe. I've got court at 9 o'clock out in Wilson County. And so if that is over quickly, I plan to be back. I know they don't open until 11. So I think I'll know if I'm going to be there when I get off at Old Hickory Boulevard. If it's backed up, then I'll probably just go home.
It's amazing how much common sense plays in the things that go on. Hey, real quick before you go, yeah. I think a lot of people think the council members, that's your full-time job. That is not your full-time job. So you are a lawyer, right?
I am an attorney by day, and that's a father by day, which takes up another part of my time. I got 4 kids, 2 in college and 2 younger ones, and so that's a full-time job. And the council, it ends up being it's as much time as I put into council, Joe. That's how much work I have to do. So it's this week is rather busy, let's just say. So I'll probably spend 30 or 40 hours this week on council work. So
let's just say you didn't go to the council for the salary.
No, it's I'm not going to talk about the salary. Some folks get mad when you talk about how little. I really do think that council members, for as much time as they put in the future, you need to really start thinking about making it more of a full-time job, because it's gotten to be, with all the new buildings that are being built in Nashville. That's what we do, is zoning, and it is just a full-time job with all the zoning going on. I feel really sorry for the downtown councilman, Freddie O'Connell. I mean, that's all he does. I mean, it's a 24/7 job for him. So
Yeah, I talked to him at the opening of the Pancake Pantry downtown, and he said he barely had enough time to stop by and see the opening and everything that was going on. So I can only imagine how busy his day is for being downtown, especially after the bombing last year.
yeah, it's been crazy for him, and a lot of council people, Joe, with the tornado. It's a year before, 2 years ago now, but it seemed like just yesterday, the tornado in the Donaldson area, and then we had all the strong storms right after that. It's a daily thing of trying to make sure people are getting what they need in the community, Joe. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you letting me come on to things like this and let folks know what's going on. So
I love it. It's real quick before you go. We do a commercial with one of our reporters who talks about how important local community news is. And that's what I would tell people. I said, pay attention to the council. I know the White House and the Congress and everything else, but it's the decisions that you guys make on the local level, which affect us more than anything else that comes from way above you guys.
yeah, that's true, Joe. And, like tonight, the emissions testing, a lot of folks may not know that that's going on, but, when you go to get your car emissions tested in a couple months and you don't have to do it, hopefully people will appreciate not waiting in a line for an hour, hour and a half and having to pay the $9. So, that's just one of the little things we can do for folks. So
fingers crossed. Kevin Rhoten, I appreciate your time. I think the world of you. Thank you for what you do for the community, man. You're a good man. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Joe. It's good seeing you. Take care.
You too. Kevin Rhoten, council member, District 14 in Hermitage. Of course, the big news tomorrow with Whataburger coming in there. And people are like, well, it's just another hamburger joint. Look, people have lost their mind over this Whataburger coming in, and they're expecting a huge crowd tomorrow. So good, good for the community, good for businesses, and maybe some of those people they'll trickle over to other businesses that are over there in that area too as well. As I tell everybody, a rising tide, man, raises all ships. All right, we'll come back. We're going to replay our pet of the week from last week, but it's a different take on our pet of the week. We'll have it for you next. You're watching Mornings on Main Street.